And tonight on our Great American Panel, he is a Democratic pollster. Fox News contributor Doug Schoen is here. She is the director of the Lawfare Project and the author of Lawfare, The War Against Free Speech. Brooke Goldstein is back, and he, the co-host of The Five, the one and only Eric Bolling. You got to deal with Peckle 5 days a week.
5 days, Sean.
Nah, but I love him. He's a great guy. And his show's awesome. You know, there's a breakout hit in cable. Congratulations.
We fight a lot, but I'd say it like this. If like two brothers fighting, we fight all day long, but outside and someone wants to pick a fight with your brother, you guys back.
I just had dinner with him. Up in my office. He had me in tears. You know, he tells us great stories. All right, let's go to Nancy Pelosi's panel of students. You see, college students are going broke. And the reason they're going broke is because contraception is so expensive. So it's up to you, the taxpayer, who's not having the sex, to pay for the college students' contraception, which this student claims is costing $3,000 a year. Roll the tape.
Without insurance coverage, contraception, as you know, can cost a woman over $3,000 during law school. For a lot of students who, like me, are on public interest scholarships, that's practically an entire summer's salary. 40% of the female students at Georgetown Law reported to us that they struggled financially as a result of this policy.
It can cost a woman over $3,000. What?
Sure. What? The issue ought to be here to make sure that people can get affordable contraception rather than pointing fingers.
When's the last time you've been to a drugstore?
Probably earlier today.
Earlier today?
Yeah.
Did you ever notice they have this big section, birth control?
I've noticed.
Okay, you have. I bet you have. I mean, you probably.
But fundamentally, Planned Parenthood is accessible. Colleges should.
Wait a minute. What is Planned Parenthood? We tax dollars. Don't we pay for Planned Parenthood? We give them.
In some instances,
federal.
yes. Some instances.
Okay.
But you know, we
and
don't
if you
need unwanted
condoms.
pregnancy.
What do you pay for condoms at Planned Parenthood?
You know, I haven't been in there lately.
Nothing.
That's good.
How much sex do you have to have for $3,000 a year?
Probably a lot.
Three a day by my count.
Only Bolling could go ahead and figure out.
$1,000 a year, 360. It's 2.5.
We don't need unwanted pregnancies. We need to have birth control available so that people are able.
Listen, you want birth control?
I do.
Fine. You and all your liberal friends, you put a birth control pot, put all your money in, and give it to all the college students you want. Taxpayers whose homes are underwater and are bankrupt, let's not force them to pay for it. How's that?
Sean, if we all get together, universities, individuals, and yes, government, to provide contraception, 98% of American women use it. You know what?
But we already do. The majority of the states do provide it, and only 5 states do not have an exception for religious institutions. So what that shows is the majority of the country is against a mandate that forces religious institutions to go against their ethics and provide birth control. But look, would we even be having this debate if not for Obamacare? This is the consequence. This panel, this not credible testimony is the consequence of federal government meddling where
we go over this again. Without insurance coverage, contraception, as you know, can cost a woman $3,000 during law school.
Right.
Now, Eric, you seem to know the price of contraception pretty well. You know, well, how many?
Sean, by the way, can you imagine if she went to journalism school, not med school?
Oh, jeez.
Is it the money, though? I mean, is it?
Yes, they want our money.
Or is it the mandate part of it? For me, it's the mandate part. For me, it's telling Catholic universities, telling Catholic schools, telling Notre Dame that they have to provide contraceptives.
I agree with you. Wait a minute.
This is more aggravating than the fact that we're the taxpayer going to pick up the tab for this girl who wants to do what she does.
Why do we have to pay for this?
Because Obama tells us we have to.
Well, we got to get kids daycare. Let's run through the list. Healthcare. We got daycare. If somebody wants a job, they need transportation to work. They got to live in a house. We got to put clothes on their back and food in their stomach.
People in America who require assistance. It's just not enough to say leave them alone.
It isn't all this. You know, it's the same argument they made about providing health care for people who couldn't afford health care. You can walk into any emergency room in America and a doctor cannot turn around and say, I'm not going to treat you. So you can get health care.
I spoke out against
you may not like the form of it.
We got a break here. Let me ask you a question. What if they don't know how to put a condom on properly? We're going to have a government inspector?
Sounds like a good idea.
We're inspecting 4
I like that.
We're looking at.
Now you're talking, Sean.
We got 4-year-olds getting their lunches inspected. Their sack. You're laughing. Why is that? That's how insane this is.
It's a false debate. We already provide contraceptives. Like you said, we fund Planned Parenthood. We're giving away condoms
All
for free.
good news.
So what's the debate here?
All right, I'm going to stop by and make some water balloons. For the Great American Panel next. And we continue now with our great American panel. All right, interesting numbers come out, and this has to do with enthusiasm of voters. And if you look in 2012, the enthusiasm gap, you've got, for example, GOP voters in 2012, 53, in 2008, 54. Interestingly, Doug, now it is 45 for the president. In other words, McCain's number back in 2008. Big indicator?
It's a slight difference. To me, equally important is that Romney's negative has gone up, and since the summer, the gap between Obama and Romney has been about 7 or 8 points in Obama's direction. This is a very close election, Sean. It's going to be very close. But to say that there's an enthusiasm gap for the Republicans is overstating the case.
Well, if you read it, I mean, the numbers...
I did read it.
Yeah, well, listen, I don't necessarily agree with the numbers, but I certainly hope they're true. If they are true, it's great news for the Republican Party. It's great news for American democracy. I was really, really discouraged with what happened in Nevada. You have a Mormon state, you know, less Republicans turned out then to vote for Romney than they did in 2008. It was horribly anemic, and it's important. That's a battleground state.
What do you think, Eric?
Hey, Sean, your viewers may not know me, but I'm very conservative, so we're very far conservatives. Yeah, well, some do, some don't, but we're having a hard time getting behind Romney now. But I'll tell you, if it is Romney, come August 27th after the convention.
Romney and Rubio. If it's
beautiful,
that.
Romney, Rubio, coupled with $5 for gasoline, smack dab in the middle of the summer. And guess what's coming up in front of the Supreme Court in the summer? Obamacare. The enthusiasm will be there for the GOP nominee.
The only problem,
I don't think it really matters
Romney.
who it is.
His negatives are skyrocketing. He puts his foot in his mouth every day.
So does Obama. The mistakes he's made in just the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
You know, Obama has a narrative.
Last night.
But doesn't matter how enthusiastic Republicans are for the Republican candidate. They're going to vote for him anyway. The question is, who are the independents enthusiastic about? And I'll say, the same poll, there's a very disturbing stat. It said it measured how many people actually gave thought to who the next president is going to be. Republicans, 70% of them had given thought. Only 50% of Democrats had actually thought about who's going to win the next election.
Because they take as a given that Barack Obama's going to win. And look, I don't like President Obama, but bottom line, he's got a narrative, class-based campaign that is appealing.
But the difference is, and I'll throw this to Eric, is now he's got a record. And as you point out, that record is horrific. Right?
It's going to be north of 8% his whole entire term, unemployment. Gasoline is going to be $4 or $5 a gallon. Obamacare is one of the most disliked things that's ever come across legislature, ever come across D.C. He's going to have a hard time beating Doug Schoen or our stage manager or this football. This football would beat Obama.
So, Eric, why is he ahead now? Why has he been moving
He's ahead
up?
Because there's no Republican candidate yet. There's no
generic
Republican Republican.
No argument. Wait a minute. Reagan didn't pass Carter till September.
I remember.
Of that election year. And I think it's going to be a bigger blowout than you think. But it's everything that Eric said about gas prices, about the debt, the deficit, Obamacare. It's all cumulative. Apologies.
You don't think Romney's flip-flops are going to be an issue?
You don't think Obama's flip-flops? Obama, I'm going to close Gitmo. I'm not going to close. I'm going to cut the deficit in half. I'm not going to.
I concede that there are real negatives.
All right, we're going to get out.
Obama.
What do you got?
I have to give this to you, Sean.
Oh, awesome. I wear hats all the time. I've been here 16 years. I don't have a Hannity hat. Thanks a lot. No, but I'll wear this proudly. The 5 Breakout Cable Show in 5 o'clock every day. Thank you, Eric. All right, at Sean Hannity if you're on Twitter. And with us, Greta's next, and we'll see you tomorrow night.